Welcome to LaPorte High School, my past high school and place of my first full-time student teaching experience. My time at LaPorte High School has allowed me the opportunity to grow into a confident and excited teacher. I was fortunate enough to be able to do my student teaching at my own high school. I was able to talk to my high school mentors and teachers to get advice and even more inspiration than they had already given me in the past. Over my time student teaching, I was able to try some different classroom management techniques. I started my first day by teaching each of my classes about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I explained to them that I understand how hard it is to learn if your needs are not being met. So if my students feel the need to move around the room, sit on the floor, or even eat a snack, I am more than okay with this, as long as they are being respectful to me, their classmates, and the classroom. This leads me into my second major part of classroom management, respect. I told my students that I will treat them with respect. My only request was that they show me and their classmates the same respect. Now, by respect, I mean they should try to stay engaged during discussion. They should be aware of the needs of their classmates and how their behavior could affect them, as well as their ability to learn. My third main aspect of my classroom management plan focuses on engagement. I try to mix up my direct instruction and activities often enough that my students get excited to come to class to see what we're doing next. I try a different type of activity at least every other day. With these activities, I try to reach students with multiple learning styles. That way, everyone has a chance to connect with the material, even if they do have a different learning style than the rest of the class. Because I grew up in this town, I feel like I have a pretty great understanding of the community. Mostly everyone at LaPorte High School comes from a middle-class home, and it can either be suburban or rural area. Most of the more affluent families send their children to a private school nearby. Students can lose their engagement with the class about midway through the semester, but usually tend to pull through in time to at least earn their credits to graduate. The other educators throughout LaPorte High School were instrumental in helping me decide what kind of teacher I want to be. I had lunch almost every day with the rest of the social studies department. They were helpful when I had questions on how to teach a topic. They were willing to share their resources, and most importantly, they were so encouraging and inspiring. These were the same educators that taught me less than 10 years ago, yet they embraced me as a colleague. They taught me to reach out to my colleagues at whichever school I end up teaching at. My colleagues will have much more experience than me, and they will have the knowledge to help guide me through any challenges I might face. Now, speaking of challenges, throughout my student teaching, I have experienced a couple of challenges. My first was time management. My classes were only 45 minutes, so it was difficult to find a way to split up my lessons. I talked to my cooperating teacher, and we were able to develop a basic daily plan for the pacing of the class. My other challenge I experienced was trying to get a few particular students engaged. I started by trying to find activities they could get involved in. This worked, but only for the in-class activities. My next step was to start trying to build a good rapport with the students. I checked in with them every day during work time and before or after class. Eventually, I started to see more effort from these students. I only wish I had more time with them so that I could keep helping them get excited to learn. Throughout my student teaching experience, I've had so many more successes than I ever could have dreamed. My first one was with my psychology class. My first solo taught lesson was covering adolescent development. At first, I thought this would be an awkward topic and that I might have a hard time getting the students engaged. So I started off with a fun activity where I helped the students understand that it's okay to express yourself. The students all got so excited to participate and add into the discussion. Every student was engaged, and it was truly inspiring. On my last day of student teaching, I finally realized all of my success. I had 2 students who made me cookies. I had one who asked me to attend his graduation, so he knew he'd have someone there for him. I had one student who brought me a beautiful glass apple, and she told me I'm going to be a great teacher. And the best success I had was when the many students hugged me and told me how much they appreciated me taking an interest in them, getting them involved in school again, and one student even said I helped her believe in herself. And that is truly the greatest success I could have as a teacher. I can only hope to try to do as great and even better of a job in the future as my students told me I did with student teaching.